So I have this one friend who told me recently that he's going to give up on a creative project that he's invested years of his time into. And I had to shake him and tell him to keep going. Now, there's times where maybe it is time to let a project go because of various things in your life, different life circumstances, or you're just not vibing with it, whatever. But in this case, I could see that all he had to do is keep pushing, and that would actually get him to where he wanted to go. And the reason I realized that that was the right time to do that was because I have gone through this myself. I've started countless creative projects over the last few years, and most of them have been abandoned. You can still find traces of them all over the internet, but some of them have even been completely taken down. And I know that if I continued with them, they would be in a very fantastic, unique place right now in terms of an artistic project. But I didn't. Hey guys, Aimon here, and this is where I help you master your creative mindset. Now that I've started and stopped a bunch of creative projects, I've realized what the thing is that actually stops me from moving forward with it. And that thing is limiting beliefs. Now, you may have heard this term thrown around a lot in the self-development or the creativity community, but it's real. And I'm going to dive into an analogy that's really helped me on my journey. And that's the analogy of the map. Now, I don't know if I've come up with this, but as far as I know, I have. Either way, if you picture yourself in like the map of a video game, right? You're looking at the little map on the top right of the corner, and you see your character, and there's a little circle around him, and that's all of the places that you have explored, right? And the rest of the map is just black because you haven't explored that thing. Now, your brain kind of operates in a similar fashion, that if it knows something, if it's familiar with something, then it's totally comfortable going around in that place. But if there's a black part of the map, it's blank, your brain hasn't explored it yet, then it's gonna do whatever it takes to stop you from going there, okay? Because it doesn't know what is there. So if you think about this in relation to your creative project, if you've ever been stuck, or if you're stuck right now, and maybe this is a great video for you, maybe it's a great video to send to your friend so that I can shake them for you. But I'm sure you have stopped doing something just where you were on the edge of greatness, just because you didn't know what the next step or the next couple of steps were. So your brain makes up this self-imposed limiting belief that tells you, oh, I can't do that because of this. It doesn't even matter what that reason is, but it will throw out a reason and you'll believe that reason, that you can't do that thing because of that, okay? But it's actually just because your brain doesn't know what's on the other side, or it's afraid of what is on the other side, whether it's potentially being a social outcast, which is all, in our primitive nature. So it throws out this limiting belief, tells you can't do it, and then you stop doing the thing, and then you don't actually go ahead with doing it. Whether it's marketing your creative project, actually launching that creative business, releasing a piece of music, starting an Instagram account about your art page. You either don't know what the next step is, or you're afraid of the potential outcomes. So how do we get around this? Well, it's actually quite simple. You see, you can reverse engineer this map analogy, because if you just kind of think into the future a little bit, if you picture yourself on the other side of that thing, and this comes back to this whole dream life thing that we explore on the MetaMinds podcast, links are in the description. And I've also explored this on my channel before, talking about Donald Miller's mission statement. But if you picture yourself on the other side of that thing, past whatever the thing that's blocking you is, and you look backwards, what steps did I take to get here? What are the potential positive outcomes of this? What are the potential negative outcomes of this? And if you do it in this way, kind of looking backwards, you realize that it's actually an easy step-by-step process to get to where you need to go. And often, if it's setting up a business or something like that, or, doing a bit of marketing for one of your projects, it's often just a small Google search away, one Google search away. And you type it in, you know the answer, you take the action, and you're on the other side of that thing. And when you realize it can be that easy, you realize how much of a scumbag your brain is. You're like, hey bro, I thought you were on my side. But no, it just kind of like puts this limiting belief in front of you, and you cannot push through it just because you don't know what the next step is. So if you do this small activity, you have a look back, you go, what was the steps that I took to get here? And then you say, what are the potential positive outcomes? And they're generally huge. You know, at the very least, you will grow as a person, you will grow as an artist, but also the potential for your creative project, or even if it's something small and technical in the music production software you're using or something along those lines, it's going to help you get better and get to the next level and also build momentum. So there's infinite potential positive possibilities. And then you look at the potential negative outcomes and you realize it's really minimal. It'd take a couple of minutes of effort or reaching out to a couple of people, you know, whatever the situation is on your creative journey, and you realize the potential downside is almost non-existent. So to zoom out a little bit, I had to shake my friend and tell him, you need to keep going. And sure, there's potential life circumstances where this is not appropriate, they've got other things going on in their lives, or, you know, they just actually, or you actually have the self-awareness to realize that it's not the right time to continue pursuing this particular project, you know? And that's fantastic to have that self-awareness, or just to divert your creative energy onto something that's more important that will get you better results sooner, you know? But there are definitely times, and this was one of them, where I saw my friend and I saw that he was passionate about it, and he just had this small creative limiting belief that he had to crush through. But first he had to recognize that it was actually his own brain stopping him from doing the thing. And you know, it might not feel like a really positive thing to kind of call out your friend and say, hey man, I think you're actually stopping yourself from achieving that thing that you want to do. But in the long run, your friends are really going to appreciate you. Or if you don't have friends that do this for you, I'll be your guy, dude. You can do it, okay? You can achieve your dream creative project, and you know you can. And it's just around the corner. You have to just keep pushing, okay? And it's generally going to be a limiting belief made up by your own mind to try and protect you. And that's awesome. You say, hey mind, thank you. I appreciate you, but not right now, okay? You're not being very helpful in this moment. And let me tell you, my friend was a little bit resistant initially. But then I helped him a little bit more. And when he actually realized what was stopping him, which I couldn't tell him exactly what it was his own mind, you know? He was stopping himself. When I realized that and he pushed through it, the amount of content that he made in the next few days, which was absolutely amazing, was insane. All he needed was that little push and a little bit of self-awareness, you know? And now he's on a roll. He's crushing it. The last few weeks, he's just made so much content. It's insane. So if you're stuck at all and you feel like you don't want to continue on your creative project right now, you have to, okay? Again, have some self-awareness. Might not be the right time. You might need to eat and sleep, something like that. Maybe do some exercise and then come back to it, okay? Obviously have that self-awareness. But when it comes time to sit down and work on that creative project again, just remember that you can do it. And you are closer to running your dream creative project than you think. The only thing that's stopping you is you, my friend. So guys, keep creating. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Creative Philosophy. My name's Aimon, and this is where I help you master your creative mindset, and I'll see you in the next video.